Hi, this is Debbie McCarthy, your host of City Talk. I am so excited because we're going to take you to a private behind the scenes at the Grand Sierra. We are right here at the theater and we're going to head on in. Hey guys, it's pretty cool today because we're going to go behind those curtains, behind the stage, which is a pretty exclusive interview, so stay tuned. Welcome. It is About Town Deb, Debbie McCarthy with City Talk. Today, as you notice, I am on location and we are going to be delving into the seams. The seams, guys. If any of you haven't seen The Lion King, it is a must-see. I have, and I gotta tell you, I'm very honored and privileged to be in the bunker. This is where all the magic happens behind the stage, and you're gonna get your own private tour, just you, a private tour. Today, we're gonna be interviewing Quinto Ott, and he is the mastermind behind making sure all these costumes are perfect and in shape and they're dialed in. And I'm so excited to hear his story. So I want you to stay tuned because we're gonna be right back and you are gonna see how the magic happens behind the scenes for all these amazing actors with their costumes. So stay tuned. Well, it is time. I told you to stay tuned because the magic is about to happen. I am with the incredible, the most amazing Quinto Ott. Welcome, or I feel welcome. This is amazing. So we are at the GSR and this is the bunker.
Yeah.
So before we get into too many questions, I would just like to highlight you. Say a little bit of how long have you been backstage doing this with the costumes and coordinating and getting people in and out? How does that go? Tell me about that.
Sure. I've been with The Lion King for about 1.5 years now.
Wow.
I've been traveling with shows both on the actor side of things and the technical side of things for years now. Anyway, we do 8 shows a week every week of the year here at The Lion King, and we are very lucky to be here in Reno doing a couple weeks of Lion King here for everybody in Nevada.
So the cool thing is you guys travel like with your the big, not even a van, a semis, the big semi trailers. And then there's these bunkers that each section has. Can you say a little bit about, since we're right in front of the bunkers, a little bit about the bunkers? And then we'll get into some deeper questions.
Sure. Yeah. So what we refer to as the bunker is the area backstage, right behind the backdrop of our set, which is where all of our ensemble dressers or all the ensemble cast members will do all their costume changes during the course of our show. There are principal dressing rooms around on either side as well, but this is where all of our ensemble people change because most people come running right off stage. They take everything off, put something new on, and go right back out on stage. Yeah, so this is the bunker is what we refer to as.
So when they're running back in here, their costumes are ready for them to go, right?
That's exactly right.
It's out, it's laid, and I read somewhere that even their shoes match the color of their skin.
Yep.
So like they just form right into the animal.
Yeah, we both the skin. The unitards and everything are match of skin. Shoes are match of skin, unless it's like something like animal related, in which case it looks like the animal shoes or animal feet.
I love it. Managing the costume changes. We had just talked a little bit about that, and the various performers, as you were saying, they're in, they're out. It's very quick. How do you coordinate that with the different performers and the changing of the times and getting them so it's smoothly? Because when you're running in with that many cast members, I mean, is it like they just all know where to go, or is there a simple way to make that happen?
So we have over 300 costume changes in the course of the show. And so part of that is up to the wardrobe department to make sure that everybody has the costumes they need to be able to change into what they're getting into. And then part of it also is the actors who know, they jump from this costume to that costume, or sometimes there are days when, if somebody's sick and there's not somebody to play that role, then sometimes you have an actor who normally doesn't do something will have to additionally add something else into their track. So part of it, it's a collaboration between the wardrobe department and also all of our actors. But yeah, we will hire 16 local dressers in each city. So we travel with our own team of people, but every city that we go to, we hire local people to help us make the show happen. And so those folks are here backstage every night of the week, making sure that all the actors are in what they need to be wearing and ready to go out on stage and do the magic.
So speaking of the performers, how many costume changes are there? I know there's quite a few, but how many actually changes are there in the entire show?
So we have just over 300 costume changes.
That's just incredible.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine just keeping all this in order then.
It's a lot.
The costumes play a huge role in bringing the characters to life. And definitely when you are watching this, the characters are definitely, they are live. You feel like you're watching the characters. Can you share a behind the scenes anecdote about a costume moment that may add a little extra layer of magic to the performance?
Sure. So part of the whole design of the show, Julie was very specific about the fact that, you know, all of these actors are human people who are portraying animals. And it's the biggest puppet show in the world.
Wow.
So we have all these different puppet pieces that are part of our show. But she was very adamant about the fact that all the actors' faces and the people are present and represented. So we have a lot of pieces that are masks and puppet parts, but also we always have the actor's face exposed. So whether it is in a hyena costume or in the gazelles or whatever, there are all sorts of puppet parts that are part of making sure that the animal nature of all of the performances are shown. But the thing I think is like kind of excellent is that the actors are at the forefront of everything. So
before they go on stage, you know how like certain people will have like a good luck charm, or they have they put their hands together and do. Is there any kind of thing like that they might do before this huge show?
Absolutely.
I would love to hear about that.
Yeah. So every night, depending on who you're talking about, I spend a lot of time on stage left. And so right as the beginning of the show happens, all of our gazelles who enter from stage left always do a whole little dance where they each wear a gazelle on the top of their heads, and they all do this thing where they bow to each other and all the gazelles kiss. So that's like how stage left always starts all their shows.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes that just, because I want people to realize when you're watching the show, you see all this action and beauty and excitement, but behind the scenes, this is why we're here, to show these are real actors and people, and they're portraying their character.
And there's a whole other show that happens backstage. You know?
Yeah, so
there's a lot there. You know, there are twice as many people backstage as there are people on stage, making sure that everything happens the way it needs to happen. And we're all part of the magic. As
someone who has done the actor's hat and shows like Phantom of the Opera, which is a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
How does your performing experience influence your approach to the costume designs and the maintenance of them?
So part of our job, whether you're an actor or if you're a backstage technician or doing front of house or lighting or whatever you're doing, you're here to tell a story. You're here to make sure that the audiences are able to experience what we're doing in the best way we possibly can. So I feel very lucky to have been on both sides of it. So I know what it means to be out on stage and singing and dancing and doing the whole thing, but also it's only part of the story. Everything else that happens to make sure that we're facilitating the storytelling happens backstage. So I'm lucky to be a part of that.
Well, since we're in the bunker, can you explain the colors are magnificent?
Absolutely.
So can you explain when they would come in, they would grab this, and then do they sit here, get the shoes on, and does somebody help them put all? How does all of that work back here?
Yeah. So each gondola, we have. All of our actors have a number that's associated with each one of them, so we all know, just in case someone isn't here for the day or has to take a vacation or is maybe just needs a night off. If someone's not in, we can swap out a number, but everything is going to be what it's going to be, and it'll be in its spot. And so we'll have one dresser for each gondola, which is one of these boxes. So one person will help us dress 3 actors.
So there's a person assigned to each gondola.
Exactly. So we hire in each city, we hire 16 local dressers to make sure that all of the dressing happens in each city. And so they will make sure that everything here is laid out and ready for the actors so they can come right off stage, take off what they're wearing, jump into their next costume, and go right out on stage and not have to worry about anything.
So They get dressed, they come over here,
Yep.
and then what's the final step? They put, is the hats, is there
So it's a
masks on
combination of
laps, or-
everything. We've got like all of our shoes live underneath the bunker, underneath the bench here. Their hats often are right behind them. Their costumes are in front. And the dressers will lay everything out so that the actors, all they have to do is come in and throw their costume on, put their hat on, and go out on stage.
So is there like a final check, like, okay, is everything on? Did you forget something? Or?
Most of the actors have been doing this long enough that they know.
They know.
They got, they need this and this and that. And so they are honestly our safeguard to make sure that everything is as it needs to be. But we also do have a couple of supervisors who are here in the bunker making sure that all the costumes are as they need to be. And then we will also have a couple other members of our team just kind of floating around to make sure that, like, if we have to repair anything in the course of the show or do any kind of, sometimes people have to leave if someone sprains an ankle or something and we need to swap out someone in the company. We have we have our swings and our offstage covers who are ready to jump on if they need them. And so we have those costumes ready too, just in case.
So I like to walk a little bit down here.
Yeah, of
'cause
course.
I was thinking about, like, number one, you've got the gondolas, and you have all of this stuff here. But the actual, when you're talking costumes, it's not just what they're wearing. They're actually like writing their costumes. It seems like some,
Yeah.
So how do you store all that, and how do you maintain all the moving parts?
So our show is very unique in the fact that we have, what people wear falls into multiple categories. So we have the wardrobe department. We also have the puppet department, who is in charge of all of our beautiful puppets that do, all these different animals. We have the hair and makeup department, who also are in charge of all the headpieces and things. And then we have props, who also do a lot of different parts of, like, the flying birds and all sorts of things. So we kind of, as a team of a bunch of different technicians, make sure that all of our pieces are here ready to go. So we have all of the costumes that everybody wears, but then we also have things like our rhinoceros or our cheetah or the wildebeest or the zebras.
That's kind of what I was excited about, because I'm telling you, if you look, like, if we could look up, like, number one, you have your costume on.
Yep.
But then you literally have to step into a physical, what would you call it? It's more like
puppet.
a puppet.
Yeah.
So you have to keep the puppets, the costumes, all of it together.
So for us, we are very lucky that we have a whole separate team, multiple teams, who take care of all of the puppet work. So there's a whole puppet department who makes sure that these are as they need to be and ready for the show. We do the wardrobe. There are also other teams who take care of the prop side of things, the hair and makeup side of things. But yeah, the puppet department are the people who take care of all of these amazing creatures that we deal with.
So has there been an experience for you where you've witnessed a moment of, like, something really touching? Because, they're becoming, they are the character.
Yeah.
And there's some very scary moments, like very scary moments. And then there's some very emotional moments. And is there, like, have you witnessed the actors really feeling those, like, with actual tears? I mean, even though they do it day in and day out.
For me, the thing that I have spent a lot of years doing the theater thing, and it's always wonderful being able to experience the response from the audience. And one of the things I love the most about being backstage is we have a couple monitors, which are there's a small camera that's right on the front of the stage that is pointed at the conductor, so that the people backstage can see the conductor conducting the show, so everybody can sing along as they're supposed to. But part of the best part, I think, is that you can often see the people in the front or first couple rows. And so being able to watch, especially kiddos, being able to experience theater magic at its finest. What we do is kind of amazing.
It is. It's like totally amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
But
being able to watch it for me is like that. For me is my favorite. Is to be able to see people's responses, to see, especially kids being able to watch this and have their mind blown.
Well, you were saying you've been about 1.5 years at the Lion King.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to fit into all of this?
Well,
You probably did. You had to just jump into it. I'm
that's
sure.
it. And it's a wonderful company. Everybody was so welcoming and lovely. So like I got here, and then like the next day I was here, and that was it. And it took me about 6 months to actually learn the show, because it is huge and so complicated. So it took a long time for me to be, professionally on top of it. But in terms of the people here, it was very fast. Everybody was very generous and lovely.
So you're going to get, when I said Backstage, this is pretty cool, because the whole time I watched the show, I just want to like go like this and just feel them and the material and what it's all made of. So can you explain a little bit about all of this, and like how would they get this on?
Yeah, so all of our women's ensemble will be a lioness at a different point in the show. This is one of our dancers' lionesses. They have a whole head structure here that holds it onto their head so that the mask can stand, and it sits directly.
So it would be on top of their
Yeah,
head.
it sits right above their face. So you can always see the actor's face, but you also have the puppet's head there. And then the silk gets worn, they'll put it on their wrists.
Well, because
and then
I was watching him like do the whole flowy thing.
Exactly.
They were doing that.
And then it also connects up underneath their corset as well. So you've got so they can create the body of the lions as they dance.
It's got to be kind of hard to dance with this. Is there like a secret to it? Because right now I'm feeling like if I were to move like they did, this would be off my head.
Fortunately, they do crank and tighten up onto the head. So when they're ready to dance, they'll make sure it's nice and snug. But it's a learning curve. So all the dancers, all the actors who have to wear all these pieces learn how to move in all those, because it's not natural.
No, it's not. And I was going to say, like, think about us guys. Think about them back here all together. And you're putting all this stuff on, and you're getting these headsets on. You're like trying not to bump into each other, and then you're going to zoom out.
Yep, and then you got to run and get on stage.
It is incredible. Sorry, Caliber, hair and makeup. Is there any personal moment or anything you would really like to share with the audience to let them know how special it is to be back here?
For me, I think the thing. I have been very lucky to be on a bunch of different shows over the years, and The Lion King is one of those ones that everybody knows it in a way. Some people are, peripherally familiar with it because of the cartoon or whatever, and then people who have seen the show, and then there are people who come back over and over again to see different companies and to share it with their family and to bring their kids or to bring
their grandkids.
Yeah, grandkids, or for date night, or it's one of those shows that really it works really well for everybody. It's it's great for kids, which is a lot of theater is harder for children. So this is one that's great because it's very accessible. It has a lot of good great messaging, good lessons, but it also deals with things that, especially for adults, in our current time, about who you are, standing up for what you believe in, being true to yourself. I think it's a powerful and beautiful piece of theater, and also it's spectacular in a way that a lot of shows, I think, aspirationally would love to be the art that we are.
I'm going to add one more thing, because during the show, the Circle of Life, it's so touching for me for us to watch that whole circle, because there has to be death to have life, and I think about that you're able to portray that so gracefully and gently for the audience, and there's, like you said, there's so many messages that we can learn from this amazing show.
Yeah.
But just to think that everybody back here are all different ages and all different levels and skills, and they're back here making that circle of life happen.
Yeah.
It takes like an army to make, and we all need to be together, as I say, together with one heart. And I
Absolutely.
I feel like every person back here as a part of the show. Without one person, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And you are a big part of that and your team. Is there something you would like to say to your team?
Well, I'm very grateful to be a part of the whole team. We have our company is we have 9 and 10-year-olds as part of our team.
That's true.
And we also have 70 plus year olds as part of our team, making the magic happen every day of the year. So we are very blessed to be a part of that whole community, and we're so lucky to be able to share it with everybody and to bring it to communities around the country.
Well, I cannot thank you enough. You are incredible, and I could see your spirit, and it just shines. And I know that each and every actor, each and every person who's watched the show, I'm so glad they know that there's a human heart behind the show, many hearts that are working really hard to make it happen. And it is totally spectacular, guys. You have got to go see it. And when you do come see it, I want you to think about what's happening behind the scenes, because it takes so many people to make it happen. And it's a once in a lifetime show. So please, if you haven't seen it or you want to see it again, you can go to Ticketmaster.com. And also Pioneer Center, thank you so much for bringing such talent and shows. And I feel like Reno is finally like, yes, we're here, and people are excited to go see theater now.
Heck yeah, absolutely.
And your theater group is incredible. And I just want to say thank you for coming to the biggest little city and being on City Talk. It's About Town Deb and Quinto.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.